Hi guys, Rusty with Rustic Handyman. Today I'm going to show you how to replace these window panes in these old vinyl windows, and it might be easier than you think it is. These windows here are probably at least 30 years old, and as you can see, the window panes have moisture in them and they look like they've been splattered with something, and that's all inside the window panes. There's no cleaning that. So I've already measured these two panes here, and I know what size they are, and I've ordered the panes to replace them. Being able to change the windows out depends on if your windows have those strips on the outside of the windows that you can remove to actually pull this pane out. So I'm going to be showing you how to do all that. I'm going to start by showing you how to get these windows out of here. This is pretty typical of most vinyl windows. You have to unlock the window, open it up a little bit, and then you're going to take and release these little latches here on both sides. Once you release those, you can pop the window out and it'll just lay right down. And then to remove the window, I'm going to go ahead and work on it outside. Take one side and lift it up so it's offset. And once I get it up high enough, it will actually come out of the hole. It'll come out of this little hinge hole there. And then I can just take it out of the other side and remove it. As you can see, this window is really bad shape, really foggy. I'm not sure what causes it. I'm guessing it's just the chemicals inside go bad and then it loses its seal and then collects moisture. The first step in this process obviously is to remove these strips, and I have already numbered them so that I make sure they get them back in the right order, in the right place, so they fit nice like they are originally. I'm just going to take a putty knife and I'm going to start around the edge here. I'm starting with the short side because, as you can see, the crease is right here, so these pieces have to come out first before you can get these long pieces out. So you just start by working the putty knife to pop these out. Just take your time. The vinyl kind of gets a little bit more brittle as it gets old. And then once they pop them loose, they just come out. Lay them aside. Alright, so I got all my strips off all the way around, but the window itself will be stuck in by either an adhesive, or the last one that I replaced had like a styrofoam strip that it was stuck to. So what I'm gonna have to do is take my putty knife and go around and release all that before this window will actually come out. Alright, so I got the window released. One thing I want to be sure to pay attention to is there's some little rubber blocks in there that actually was used to kind of space the window. They were underneath the bottom. Usually there's one or two along the side here. Just make sure you don't lose those because you can reuse them. So once you get the window pane released, you can just pop it out of there carefully and remove it. I ordered mine through a local company that replaces windows and glass and buildings and stuff. And they were pretty adamant that I got a real exact measurement for my windows. So I'd already actually taken one of these windows apart and the strips off and measured to the edges of both directions and the thickness of the window pane that was already in here. You need to measure as closely as possible. I measured mine within a 1/16. This particular window is an inch thick. A lot of double pane windows are an inch thick. I'm going to take this one out and set it aside carefully. The next step in this process, they use like an adhesive piece of styrofoam to seal the windows on the interior of the window. So I have to scrape all this off with like a putty knife and clean this so I get a good fresh start. You can either use caulk, or I might use the same stuff they use and just put some styrofoam window sealer back down. Alright, so I got all the styrofoam adhesive strip off, and so now I'm going to take a little acetone and just clean the surface a little bit better before I lay down some caulk. Alright, I got the surface cleaned up pretty good. I'm pretty happy with it. So now I'm just going to go and lay a little bead of caulk away from the edge all around here so it'll seal. It's also a good idea to take your window pane before you put any caulk in there and just dry fit it and make sure it'll fit, make sure the size is correct. But I'm pretty confident mine's the right size, so I went ahead and put my caulk in here. Now I'm going to be laying the window in here carefully. Another thing you want to do before you put your new window panes in is just make sure there's no extra silicone or whatever kind of sealant they use on these windows on the edge. Sometimes it wraps around and it's on the face of the window, and that might cause you problems when you go to seal your window in your frame or put your strips back on. So just make sure there's none of that extra. Take a razor blade. Like I said, I got my windows from a local shop, but you can also order them from Amazon or some places like that online. I just like supporting the local businesses if I can, when I can. Okay, I'm gonna put the strips back in. Start with the long strips on the long side, obviously, because they were the last ones you took out. And I'm gonna put a little Vaseline on this edge that snaps in here just to make it go in a little bit easier. I'm just gonna use this old flooring pull bar and a little soft hammer to snap these back in. You could probably use a lot of different things. I would just support the frame because you're putting quite a bit of pressure to snap those back in, and you don't want to bust the frame. Alrighty, that's all there is to it. I got my strips back in, I got the new window in, and now I just got to put it back in the frame. It's just reverse of how it came out. Level up your window. Make sure everything's out of the way. Just like that. Can you tell any difference between these two windows? Oh my word. World of difference. Well, I'm just going to replace this one and then I'll be done for this job for now. So it's really not that bad of a job. Just take your time. Make sure your measurements are correct when you order your new window panes. Just be careful, it is glass. You don't want to get cut. You don't want to break a window on yourself. But it's not too bad. Saves you a bunch of money. Each of these window panes, these are about 30 by 17 and they cost me about $110 a pane. So whereas this would probably cost, you know, $1,000 to replace, I can replace these window panes and keep using these frames because the vinyl's in good shape. It'll get me a lot more years. And I'm all about saving money. So don't forget to subscribe and like the video, helps a lot. And until next time, good luck with all your projects.